Okay, I'll try one more time to start this a little better and get to the point and stay focused on where my emotions were kind of leading me. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to World of Monsters. This video is kind of off the cuff. It's 3, almost 4 a.m. here. I never do videos at that time. I never film, and I usually never do videos based off of emotion. If I do something, I usually prepare, I have notes, things like that. Even if it's emotional based, like a rant, which I've done maybe 2 on the channel. But this just hit me after watching the documentary, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go with it immediately. For some reason, I just decided to do that for the first time. It felt right, as if I sleep on it, maybe I lose some of that emotion that was involved, and so I get off track. But then again, if I do it too soon, maybe it's too stuck in emotion as well. So we'll see. If you're watching this, that means it made it through, so it wasn't too irrational. I just watched the Travis Walton documentary. Great documentary, actually. Wonderful documentary. It involved a lot of people. This is all about a UFO type of case. One of the best cases in history of evidence. Now, this video right here is not going to be necessarily that much about that case, but kind of the things surrounding it and the mentality of humanity that I don't necessarily appreciate. And I've shared my opinion on this before with some Monsterites, but in smaller groups like on Discord, where I've spent more time in voice and talking to people. But I never really shared it in the videos, and sometimes I give a little bit of passive-aggressive hints of my feelings about these issues throughout my videos, but I don't make it too obvious as to not turn off any sides so people can watch them and be sort of unbiased. But that's the problem with the world, is there is a lot of bias. The Travis Walton case is a really fascinating one, as there's a lot of individuals involved. There's a lot of testing, a lot of things that went around it, and all in all, it's just fascinating. What bugs me is also, that's why I felt this documentary was so good, is it showed the other aspect of everything as well, as this case does when you dig deeper into it. The other side of non-believers for the sake of non-believers, and there's, I guess, the whole, in summary, what this video is kind of about. As I mentioned, it's not necessarily about the UFO case or abduction case. It's more about the I don't want to edit this. I want to just keep it going, keep it natural. But it's more about the sides that people jump to and how quick. That's always something that's bugged me for a long time, and it will continue to, because that's how humanity are. You hear that concept of either follow, lead, or get out of the way. Humans are a herd type of species, at least it seems so. I know to a good degree they are group-based, in our genetics, but I'm not going to get into that. But they will cling to groups. Humans love to follow other humans. It's in our nature. And the problem that I see so often, especially traveling or living in older countries, as the U.S. is sort of a mess, but a modern, fast-moving forward country. But if you look at places, for instance, Poland, Italy, those countries were very impacted by religion, very strongly. And since childhood, when I visited Europe, what I've already noticed at that point was that when you have this strong cling to something, an opposite will rise very strongly. And I can show you examples all over the place, even with the Japan, how strict things are, but then on the other side, how wild things can get. That's just the nature of this beast. So when you have these countries of strong religion, you will have a rise of atheism or anti-belief in whatever religion is the commonality there, or has been pressed upon the culture and society. Hence, you see a lot of comedians come from the UK which was more stronger religiously run, obviously, than the U.S. So you have these atheistic, like the great comedian Ricky Gervais. So no offense on him being an atheistic approach. That's just a great example of what kind of mentality develops from there. You get this old mentality, or not necessarily old, but a strong religious possibly. And then you get this strong opposing mentality. And then you get this, the middle ground is totally gets ignored because people want to follow other people. A wonderful thing in the US is it being such a young country and the way it is, and the way how mixed it is, we do have this middle ground. But then you have people with a lot of heads in clouds and things like that. But back to that, the black and white is people always miss seeing the gray. And in the gray is where you need to start looking for answers, not in the black and white, because the black and white already give you supposed answers, and that's the whole problem here, right? Personally, I'm very skeptical. I approach things very scientifically, if you haven't noticed the channel, but I am very open-minded because I accept a modesty and a humbleness within myself where my knowledge is limited. And most people that I will talk to, or you guys will talk to or meet, have a limited knowledge basis. Okay, so here, let me jump to this now. I'll see if I'll re-edit this somehow to make this video make more sense. But, so this Travis Walton case, what kind of fired up more this emotion in me is I did see, you guys know Red and Link, right? That's the big channel with the two guys sitting at the table. Nothing against them. But what is against them is that they aren't deeply researched in these fields. And so recently I actually watched them talk about UFO cases, some big ones, and they mentioned Travis Walton. And they mentioned a lot of BS in it, even though they got some of the information from his writings on the side of what he says truly happened as opposed to what the Hollywood movie showed. That's been out there for years now, but they still like twisted it and made it look silly and the whole cynicism thing. And that's what I wanted to grasp at right now, is the whole cynicism society. And I'm very cynical myself. And sometimes, even with myself, I don't feel good about it. Because the cynicism is a weak, sometimes it's a weak way to battle something, or just to ridicule something without having knowledge about something. You join a larger group, and then you can be cynical to belong with that group to attack a topic that is lesser supported, possibly. But in this case, that's a very common thing with things like abductions, aliens, and seeing different phenomena. Even in my own group, I see this quite a bit, passively and stronger in stronger ways. And again, I'm a proponent, is that the word? Anyway, for skepticism, for being open, for being analytical, for evidence, for science, for proof. But to be cynical on topics that are already so destroyed by a larger number, because of, various cases that maybe weren't so strong. Of course, I'm going to be a little biased on this because I've been into UFOs and aliens since I was very young. In the more recent years of my life, I haven't been into it much. I haven't been looking into any cases. I haven't been getting into it or giving it too much thought. And even believing that we're maybe that in tune or close with another species. I'm just not sure. But it hasn't really been evoking more of it in me lately because I just haven't been seeing much. Maybe if I get into a video on this later. Again, this isn't a video on Travis Walton, but I might, if I do an alien UFO cryptozoology type video, you'll be sure to see that case there. So I haven't been involved with that, and I don't have too much tie-in with it, with how I feel with things, because I just don't know enough. But it really bugs the hell out of me when other people don't know anything either, but they already put it down. This is different than your neighbor or somebody coming off the street telling you they saw something crazy. It's different when you have a case like this, and I think it deserves attention, and I think it deserves respect. And there's a lot of respected researchers in the field, and there's a lot of nutcases, and there's a lot of everything in it. Unfortunately, the nutcases ruin it for everyone. They ruin it for religions. They can ruin it for non-religious people as well. And so I ask you to be in that middle ground. Don't cling into these big groups in humanity of either you believe in this, or there's no middle. The middle is probably the answer. We don't know enough on this side nor that side. When people talk about, I don't follow religion because I follow science, cool, but are you versed in the terms of physics or biology to that degree that you can confidently say, I don't believe in this because I follow science and it hasn't proved? That means you're just depending on other people. That means you just grouped yourself. Unless you're a scientist and a big, heavy researcher, when you say that, then it holds more merit. For example, you have great physicists like Einstein or whoever you want to name. They never deny big ideas, big concepts like a god or a God kind of consciousness, because they can't, because nothing has disproved it or necessarily proved it. But they are humble enough, because they are so researched, that they're humble enough to accept they probably don't, or that they certainly know less than they do. And so they accept it and they don't give answers on that. Yet all those people that follow these great scientists already deny things and act cynical about topics like that without having all that research knowledge that these scientists have that they follow. So therefore, they're just making themselves appear shallow and ignorant, just like those people that are extremely religious and maybe blind to science, that they are mocking. They have went to the opposite side but became the equal level of ignorant that they are trying to fight. And that's the problem. That's pretty much what this video mainly is here for, and as a rant. So that's my rant. It's a big rant. It's not a rant on a movie. It's a rant on humanity itself and taking sides too quick without research, with whatever, If you don't know, say you don't know. That's the best way to do it. Just say, I don't know. I'm not following this religion. I'm not following this. I follow science, what they prove to me, but I know that's limited. I've experienced, and then whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but it's better to say I don't know than to draw a wall immediately somewhere because of a soft notion. These are soft notions. This isn't hard facts that make you talk like this. It's just a lot of soft notions of different things you've learned in school and from textbooks and such. So when I saw Red and Link talk about that, it was disrespectful, because with this case of Travis Walton, if you look at the people behind it that were involved, they're genuine people. And as is he, although that can be argued and that can be looked upon. I'm not a psychologist, and I haven't spent that much time breaking him down, and I don't think I ever will. But if somebody doesn't give you obvious clues, or even a little bit, which they haven't, give them their time. Honestly, if you guys, and I've ran into this even when I did my UFO video, I met a person that told me that they saw a UFO this way, with their wife. She saw one this way, he saw another one this way crossing the sky when they were driving in an area. I believe, this is my stance, because you guys share your stories with me, this is my stance. I will believe pretty quickly, judging by your expressions and everything you're doing, through your communication, I will believe that you believe that what you saw is what you believe it was. You believe it's real. What you saw, I have no idea, because I've encountered enough people in my life to not trust people because of how filtered they see things through their delusion. We all see things filtered through our deluded, filtered minds and vision, some more than others, but everybody's vision is different. And so I can believe that, yes, you saw it, but I don't believe that that's really what it was. And probably most of the time when I hear these stories, I will think, depending on the person, of course, I will probably not believe it's a UFO they saw. I believe their story. I believe that's what they believe, but not the real deal. But again, I just don't know. So I am very skeptical myself. That's why I understand these different point of views, because I don't have a trust in humanity much, but I don't have a trust in people. I don't have a trust in individuals and their perceptions of things, because perceptions are affected, again, by so many things, mentally, emotionally, biologically. There's a lot of factors that get involved. And when you get experienced enough with this or old enough and you start seeing this, then you realize you don't need to kind of believe in everything everybody says, right? But then a lot of the young people are actually the ones that are the most cynical. I've noticed that when I was young. A lot of YouTubers I enjoy, they have a very cynical approach on things because they don't have enough knowledge on it. And it spans, that's why I'm so passionate about this, because it doesn't just span cryptozoology. It spans biology. It spans how we see our natural world and the niche topics that shouldn't be niche. Or maybe not necessarily as much as they are. For example, my topic that I'm referring to here is, for example, reptiles, snakes. Let's focus on snakes because that's what people love to destroy. There's a huge lack of knowledge on snakes. Still, like I think that things are changing because that's what I'm watching on the internet, but that's not what majority are watching. So they don't know anything about niche topics like reptiles, tabletop gaming, cryptozoology. Normal people don't know about this stuff. Can't blame them too much, but as far as something like animals and snakes, it really bothers me. Like, I got into Vikings recently. Sorry, this is going on probably a little longer than I was hoping. Again, I'm watching Vikings. I don't want to do a spoiler, but this happens a couple times in the series. They throw the person into snakes as means of death. Every snake pretty much in the pit is harmless as far as killing a human goes. So you can't call it harmless because it can still bite you and, draw a little bit of blood. There was one that was CGI that made the bite that looked like a venomous snake. So kudos on that. Although the rest of the real snakes that they always drop in movies make it look scary were non-venomous and non-lethal. Completely non-lethal. There was even corn snakes in there, which are like the number one pet snake. You see, nobody notices things like that except herpers, or people that loves herps, which are reptiles and amphibians, in short, herps, or nerds like me, nerds and geeks that love this kind of stuff. And that's sad, because then the whole society develops this thought that snakes are all venomous or all lethal because of this scene in a big series. And it's not just there. I mean, it's a lot of movies and things like that. So aside from that, I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, there's a lot of silliness out there. You shouldn't trust people. I don't. I have a lot of, and I will be getting a lot of people with stories on the channel, and a lot have their heads in the clouds and have a lot of delusions, and I believe that. No disrespect, I'll hear their stories out, but will I believe everything? No, I need hard evidence. But I'm not going to deny everything immediately either. Just because you can't disprove something, or just because you can't prove something, doesn't mean it has automatically been disproved. Religious people use that argument a lot, or some do. I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, in respectable cases, like the Travis Walton case. Another individual that was involved in the whole case was a person that was just trying to disprove them. Other individuals even offered the people that were involved with seeing the sighting with the person disappearing Travis for 5 days. They were offered $10,000, and they were young at the time, and it was in the 80s. It was a lot of money. $10,000 to just deny that they experienced what they did. One of the younger guys was, and he didn't take the bribe. Why were bribes like that going around? With the whole Travis Walton case, I don't know if that's aliens out of this world or if it's Russians, right? Or some other nation developing something, or our own government doing something. It could be anything. And that's the point. We don't know that much. We know a lot, and we're progressing incredibly fast in the last 100 years. Okay? The last 100 years. Give us another few hundred. Let's see what we know. Don't get cocky that you know that this doesn't exist because science is pretty open. Okay? Don't put science down. Science communities are indoctrinated, just like religions can be. But science as a whole is not that closed-minded. It's not that closed. It still takes evidence and theories to get somewhere in the hypothesis. So that's it, I guess. I don't know if I'll put this up. If I put this up, thanks for watching. I figured either way, it's not going to get that many views. So I wouldn't get that much hit back or hate for it. But remember, next time you're arguing or thinking about whether this is right, this religion, or people on this side, or the Democrats or Republicans, or whatever divided system, there's gonna be crossover, and usually that's where you'll find your answer, and it's in the gray. If you talk to people that always want a black or white answer, and it's hard for you to give it to them, and they get angry at you, shrug it off, ignore it, because they just don't get it. Most answers are in the gray, especially for topics such as phenomena. And guys, it's okay to have mysteries in this world. Don't be a person that has to believe everything because you want it to be real. You know there's a lot of you out there. You want Bigfoot to be real. It'd be awesome. That's the main reason why there's as many believers. But the non-believers have the same system as well, some of them, right? They just don't want it to be real because nothing has proved it to them. So they want to have a strong stance, and they will do anything to disprove it. The believers that want to believe in it, they will do anything to prove it. You have these two sides and, psychological kind of motivations that move people to get things done, which is good. But remember, it's okay to have something unknown. The world is all that more beautiful, wonderful, because it is mysterious, because there are things we don't know, and there will always be things we don't know. And I'll still always bet that there will be more that we don't know than we will ever know, because that's how beautiful I believe the world is. So remember, you don't have to fight it and say that you believe in something or you don't. It's okay to say that you don't know. And that's it. And just cling on to the gray. You don't need to have answers for everything to be a happy person or to be intelligent. You need humbleness. You need kindness. Okay, I don't want to veer off track there. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm sure I'll do a video on that in the future. I want to say to Travis Walton, thank you. Years ago, the movie that was based off of his story was Fire in the Sky. For me, and I know a lot of alien kind of fans of cryptozoology, aliens out there. It was a terrifying movie. The one scene, you know what I'm talking about, in the movie was terrifying. But it also wasn't how he wrote it out to be. I found his writing of what actually happened in his terms, not what Hollywood changed over later. He wrote a book, and it's just on his website. It's been there for years. I got online maybe when I was 15, 16, 17, 18. I found his website, And I emailed him and I asked him something about the aliens that he saw and how they were in the movie. And he answered me. And that's very cool. And that's how Walton's always been. He's been pretty real with it. He's been like I would hope many of us would be if they've experienced something like this. So I do want to thank you, Walton, for answering that question. That was really cool because I always kept it in mind. And anytime I watch that movie now, I think about his write-ups. And so next time you see cynicism when you watch Red and Link talk about it, I mean, I watch H3H3 too. I watch different YouTubers, PewDiePie, I'll listen to him at times. These guys, I enjoy for entertainment. On some things they have knowledge. If they don't have knowledge on something, I don't hate them. It bugs me that they're, hitting a topic I love and they don't know anything about. I see that all the time with these big YouTubers because they're mainstream for the most part. They don't get into these other kind of topics that some of us do, right? So it always bugs me a little bit, but that's not why I watch them. I watch them for their other things, and I still enjoy them. I don't agree with them on those parts, and that's it. It just bugs me a little more, I guess, because they have a voice, right? They have a lot of viewers, and when they say nonsense or put something down, it's just not cool. It's already a field that gets a lot of bashing, cryptozoology and pseudoscience, stuff like that. And there's a lot of fascinating parts in it, and you have to remember pseudoscience or whatever you want to call it, or I don't even like that label because it's a label already. And I'm not all into everything there. And then science as you know it in school, probably be the best way to put it. It's not like this. It's not too, what am I doing with my hands here? It's not a video for children, but it's also not for children. But so you have two groups here. They're not like this. They're overlapped. There's always something here that's being explored. This side maybe gives you answers that are based off of impressions, while this side looks for hard facts. But they are crossing over, and that's how we keep moving forward, is we need imagination. We need big ideas to explore things, to move forward with technology and everything. So, the UFO whole thing, Bigfoot, they get bashed enough. We don't need your cynicism. If somebody's wacky, he's going to get caught. Even in their own community, hopefully they'll get caught. Although, again, there's people in the clouds, heads in the clouds in every community. But if there's something that is more genuine, hear it out. And if you're not going to and you don't care and you're already set, leave it alone. But don't mock it. Don't mock it, especially if you got a bigger voice, because some people really go through hell with different experiences and such and expressing that. It's like a molested girl speaking about a shy past and then her being picked on and denied by a society that doesn't accept what she's saying. It's the same as that. Maybe sometimes stronger, sometimes not quite as stronger as that example. But why pick on something that's already being picked on? Just leave it alone. Or if you're interested in it, give it some time and actually look into it. It's fine if you debunk certain things. Don't make it I'm not going to get into it more, but if something is unjustly and it's wrong, go ahead, do your part, expose it. But if it's not and you can't find that, and that's your job, just to expose things, maybe sometimes go on the other side and say, actually, check out this thing. It has some truth to it. Give respect where it's due. That's all. Don't believe in it. So, all in all, the summary here is, first of all, thank you, Travis, if you are watching this, since I'm using your name as a catch here. But it's definitely one of the greatest UFO cases in our history, and I don't know what else to say. It's very fascinating, and I'm looking forward to doing a whole video on UFOs and going deeper into this stuff and giving myself time to do that. The other summary is, remember, don't be a sheep with everything. You can be in the middle. You can be in the gray. Usually the answers are in the gray, and that's just fine. You don't need to know everything. The world is more beautiful with mystery, and accept that some things are just mysterious, at least for now. Maybe they will be forever. And that's the beauty of it all. Thank you guys for listening. Again, don't think this will go out, but if it does, thank you. Thank you very much. The ones that watch this video here, that means a lot, because I know you guys actually care more about the channel, not just quick clips of werewolves and stuff. All right, guys. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Werewolves and stuff. Werewolves and stuff.